So we're here in beautiful Portland.
Yes. In my hotel room.
In Lewis's hotel room, ahead of Lewis's School of Greatness workshop. Welcome to Portland. How's it going?
Man. It's going good. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice. So I've listened to all of those episodes, by the way, and it's kind of weird.
100 of them or all of them?
360, except for about 2.
Wow.
The last couple, because I've been traveling.
Here.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's your favorite one?
Good question. The one with your brother, the original one with your brother, the double episode.
Yeah.
That was a good
fun.
story.
That was fun.
Have you got any plans to come to Australia? And have you heard of AFL, Australian Rules Football?
I've seen an AFL game, yeah. I went there 4 or 5 years ago to Sydney and Melbourne and watched, what was the team in Melbourne that I saw? There was a team there in Melbourne that I saw.
What were the colours?
I can't remember now. I think it was blue. I love Australia, yeah. I was only there for about 10 days, so I didn't get to experience as much as I wanted to, but a lot of people keep asking me to come down and speak, and if we can create some type of event that makes sense, then I'm happy to come.
So your football career ended abruptly with a wrist injury, leaving you unable to play professionally again. You had a pretty drastic career change. What was the aha moment or potentially series of moments that got you off your sister's couch?
I think for about 1.5 years, 2 years, I was on my sister's couch trying to figure out what I was going to do next with my life after my identity was kind of gone. I put all my eggs in this basket. My whole dream was to play professionally, and then when the dream was no longer available, I remember I always had my father as like a backup plan. My dad was starting to become successful in business, and he said, go live your dream, and when you're done, like, you can come work with me in the insurance business.
Yeah.
And so I kind of always had that in the back of my head, like I don't have to figure anything else out because I'll have that. And then my dad got in a really bad accident. He got in a car accident in New Zealand, actually, and was in a coma for 3 months. We didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And when he came back, he finally woke up and came back to the States. We had to teach him how to write, how to talk, how to read again, how to just do functional movements. But he's alive today, but he still has a lot of amnesia, and he can't work anymore.
Right.
So he's not really available to mentor me, to guide me in any way. And so I think after a couple of years, I just said, I don't have this backup plan anymore.
Yeah.
My father's not there to support me emotionally, financially, spiritually.
And you looked up to him a lot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's my dad. And so I think at that point, I just said, I have a choice. I can continue sleeping on my sister's couch, which I was doing for a while, and not make anything of my life, or I can discover who I want to be and the impact I want to make in the world moving forward. And I just knew that there was something inside of me that was like, I was supposed to do something. I just wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
And so I went on a journey of discovery, and I started taking on multiple challenges for myself to grow. I did public speaking every week. I started salsa dancing. I was like just trying anything that I could. I was learning about online marketing. I was reading books.
That's cool.
Watching videos, just consuming as much information as possible about what I'm curious about, what I like, what I want to do next in my life. And I think it was just that feeling of I want to matter in the world.
Yeah.
I want to leave an impact on other people. And at that time, I didn't feel like I was doing anything.
And
so
how many years ago was that?
This was 2008, kind of 2008, 2009. So
wow.
7, 8 years ago, yeah.
And look what you got now.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a fun journey, and I'm just committed to growing and forgiving myself for a lot of the things that, for my past, for my behavior, my actions, or things that I did do or didn't do, or ways I've hurt myself, hurt other people, just letting go of things and allowing myself to be in the moment.
Yeah. I think that's what I need to work on with myself. I need to start becoming friends with myself.
It's the most important thing. You can't give love to anyone else if you don't love yourself first.
Yeah.
You can only give what we have.
Yeah.
So if you don't love yourself, if you don't have it personally, it's hard to give it.
Absolutely. So tell me about the fluest days and the transition into the School of Greatness.
Yeah, I mean, I was so focused on making money because I didn't have any for a long time. And I just never wanted to feel scarcity again financially. I didn't want to feel like I couldn't provide for myself, which was my basic needs, which is paying for rent, food, whatever I wanted to do. And also I just wanted to be able to make sure that I would never go broke again. So I was so fixated on making money and saving and investing in and just seeing it grow in my bank account because I just didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to have to rely on anyone else's help financially. I still reach out for support constantly in other ways, but I didn't want that holding me back from creating the life of my dreams. So I spent, all day, all night. It was like I was doing finals in school, college finals week for like years. It was just like every night I was up till 4 a.m. or pulling an all-nighter, and then just working all day and eating whatever I wanted to. And as a former athlete, I used to eat like this, but I was training really hard too. So my body was able to burn it off. So I wasn't training as hard, and I gained 30, 40 pounds. And I remember I moved to New York City, and I saw like my underwear just kind of roll over and my gut just get bigger. And I was like, and I was just like, this is unacceptable, If I want to live, if I want to be great in this life, or if I want to be an example of inspiration to people, then that means I get to work on all areas of my life, not just my finances and like making sure I grow there, but also in my body, make sure that I'm growing, in health-wise, not growing like this, but growing like in a good way. And that meant, okay, I took a challenge. I took a new challenge. I said for 30 days, I'm going to do no sugar, no gluten. And I lost 30 pounds in 30 days, about 28 pounds in 30 days. And I just kind of like started researching and learning. I said, how can I grow to relearn about food and working out? Because my whole life, I thought that pizza was healthy. I thought that French fries were good for you. I thought that, chicken fingers were good. All these things, fried food, I thought were good for you. Like bread, I thought was good. Bread and cheese, I was like, yeah, that's good. The guy just was not educated growing up in the Midwest in the U.S. So for me, I had to re-educate myself. So I started surrounding myself with all the health experts, reading the books, listening to podcasts, things like that, and then doing things that I didn't like doing. I didn't like giving up foods that I liked. I didn't like eating vegetables and green juice. I hated green juice. I didn't even want to try it. But I said, okay, this is something that I get to do to master my health. And I'm still not exactly where I want to be all the time. Like this last week, I was in Brazil eating a bunch of junk food up all night. But I think at the same time, I'm very aware of how I can turn it on and turn it off and give myself a break every now and then. You don't have to be perfect.
Well, it's balance.
Exactly. It's balance.
You can't go too far one way and too far the other way. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Is it? So I just started I saw what wasn't working in my life. I think at all times I'm always looking what's not working, what's missing. At that moment, having a healthy lifestyle was missing. So I said, okay, how can I learn and grow? And that's really when the School of Greatness podcast idea started to come around. Was like, after all this, I was like, I just want to continue to grow and learn and do something that's really fulfilling for me, and that's learning from the best. I like to grow and learn. So Tony Robbins says that the key to fulfillment is growth and contribution. So if we're not growing, we don't feel fulfilled. If we're not contributing, we don't feel fulfilled at the highest level. And from the podcast, for me, I get to do both. I get to personally grow and learn and connect with other people, and then I get to give that information to someone else and contribute back to the world. So it's very fulfilling for me to experience it.
And I think that's what resonated so much with me. Like it wasn't just business oriented, it wasn't just marketing oriented, it was nutrition, it was
relationships, spirituality.
It was just a whole host of collective learning experiences. It was really good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So what lessons did sport teach you about business, in particular the notion of belief?
I mean, I just feel very grateful that I've played sports my whole life because, man, I just don't know people who haven't experienced sports as much. I just feel like they don't understand at the same level what hard work really looks like. Unless they've done some type of manual labor or something where they've physically gone through hard work. I feel like when the body is under extreme stress, then you're able to move through life in a more effective way, I think, when you've experienced that type of stress. I don't say you have to do that your whole life, but if you experienced it for some amount of time, physical strain and stress and constant pressure. In sports, every day in practice, there's pressure. Games, pressure. And so when you have a business, when you're starting out, when pressure situations come up, if you haven't experienced them for a period of time, it's hard to just step into being your best self. It's hard to step into being a powerful leader in the world and just say, oh, this is too hard. I've never experienced this before. So I feel like, not saying it can't be done, but just the background of it. Pressure situations my entire life I've had like business seemed easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't all easy. It was still hard, but it just seemed like, oh, this is an easier transition.
It's easy to hustle.
Yeah, it was like, I can do this because I've done this my whole life.
Yeah.
Where I feel like some people who haven't done sports or some type of, whether it's music or whatever, some type of practice of something with pressure situations.
Yeah.
It's hard to go and run a business on your own.
Yeah. I used to do a bit of long distance running. And, you get to those points where you get to about 3 kilometers and you're I want to start walking.
Yes.
So you got to push through those barriers.
The wall. And once you get to the wall, you feel like you can go for a while.
And then you go for another wall.
Yeah.
And then you get around, and then next time you do like the 7 kilometer track, or what's that in miles? Like 9 miles, 10 miles?
Yeah, 5K is 3.1, 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles, yeah.
So something like that. But you sort of push through and you learn to adapt and just charge through that wall.
That's it. And I think a lot of people don't have that mindset. So, yeah, belief is one thing. When you put yourself through a lot of these challenges, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you can get on the other side, you finish the 7K, you build the belief.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been doing my whole life. And there's always a new challenge, a new obstacle to grow into. So. And
I think you've said, like, in the past that, athletes or leaders, they have 2 forms of belief. It's either a spiritual or a belief in themselves.
Yeah. So I think you can have a little bit of both. I think my experience is, if I just believe in God or source or whatever, and don't believe in my abilities that I've also acquired through the years, then I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out. I think you gotta have a little bit of both. But I personally don't think I could say I believe in myself and source or God didn't help me in any way.
There's always a little bit of luck or something.
Yeah, of course.
In there, like coincidence, like the alchemist.
That's it.
There's like a butterfly that'll fly through. You follow it along, and then all of a sudden,
oh wow.
Yeah. So how do you balance your relationship, work, health, and fitness? So you've previously talked in terms of seasons.
Yeah.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, it's all seasons. I mean, I think I'm constantly in my business. At the beginning of the year, I say, here are the 3 or 4 things that I want to accomplish this year, the big goals. So I work towards each one of those, and I time them out throughout the year of when I want them to happen or create them. So I don't do them all at once. I space it out. I give myself time to research, learn, create, launch.
Yeah.
Research, learn, create, and launch for each thing that I want to create. And around that, I am building in my lifestyle around that. So I'm following my morning habits, routines, workouts, and it also depends on my sport. If I'm playing handball and there's a USA tournament coming up, then I put more attention into that for 8 weeks leading up to it. Work out more, do physical therapy more, and less with the business. And the same thing with my relationship. I'm in a relationship right now, and some weeks are incredible, and other weeks I don't know if it's gonna last. And it's there's a lot of uncertainty. If I'm being honest. So it's like I give more attention when I need to, and I try to maintain balance throughout. And other times it's doing amazing. So it's just a matter of being aware. And I think when we take time every single day to, whether it's 5-10 minutes, either in the morning or at night, to say, okay, how am I showing up in my life? What's working for me well this week? What's not working? My health isn't working. I feel like lethargic. I feel tired. I feel out of shape. I'm not comfortable with the way I look. So let me put more attention there. My finances, my business isn't working. Okay, so let me put more attention into generating sales. What do I need to do to generate this much more income in the next 30 days? And how can I sustain that system? So I think it's constantly evaluating the important areas of our lives for me, and listening to my body, listening to what am I rejecting in the world? What am I not feeling good about? And just listening. And I think when we set up a ritual, a routine, a practice, journaling in the morning and night, we can receive that feedback very clearly. What we liked, what we didn't like throughout the day.
So the flip side to flying by the seat of your pants, which is probably something that Lewis would have done.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't have the structure.
I
think we create freedom in the structure, and so it's a matter of setting a schedule for yourself every day and scheduling in the things that are important. So schedule in your workout. Don't just say, I'm going to work out today. Say, okay, this morning at 8 a.m. and then have the whole week mapped out of when you're going to work out. And set yourself up to win the things that are challenging. Maybe you need to have a trainer come to you. Maybe it's you need to go somewhere to do it. Maybe you need to have an accountability partner who says, okay, we're going to run together. Because doing it on our own for the things that we already resist is hard to achieve.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah.
So you got to set yourself up to win in all ways possible.
Have you watched John Cleese's video on creativity? There's like 5 tips in there, and I think 2 of them are time. And you're like, well, why is there 2 exactly the same? But one is setting the time, and one is actually physically spending the time.
Yeah.
Because to get into the creative mode, you're not going to straight away like, oh, it's 4
takes time.
p.m.
Let's go.
Yeah.
In the zone.
In the zone. But you might take 30 minutes to get into the zone and then start.
Yeah.
What are the 3 greatest life lessons that you can recall that really stood out from all your guests on the podcast?
Man. So many great ones. I'm going to keep it simple. I think this is my 3 truths or from people that I've heard.
Whatever comes to mind.
I think, the common theme is lead with love. Lead in every situation with love. I think that's kind of like a universal truth, is like when we think, lead, believe in that, then things work out at some point. So lead with love. I'd say the second thing is...
She believes it.
Yeah. I think the most important thing we should do is to discover and pursue our dreams. I think, what is the point of life if we don't have a dream?
Yeah.
Why be here if we aren't going to at least discover that and then pursue it? Whether we achieve it or not is, in my mind, irrelevant. But it's, as you know, the journey which inspires others. And then if we reach the destination and achieve it, awesome.
And so many people say, like, once you reach... who was it? It was, I think it was Lionel Richie. Maybe I heard it on your podcast. But there was he got to a point where he was smashing it in the 80s, and he got to the top of a mountain. And he goes, you know what sucks? There's no one else here.
No one else there. Yeah.
So, people forget to, celebrate the journey.
Absolutely. And every single day there's something magical that happens. We experience life another day. And that's why I start, finish, and process the entire day with gratitude. Because it's like, wow, there's so much good. Even if, I'm going through a challenging time with my girlfriend, and it's like, man, there's a lot of tears right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of crying and arguing and not clicking. But it's like, God, this is beautiful. We're both like up against our walls and our buttons, and there's so much messy uncertainty, but something beautiful is going to unfold. Yeah. And I want to trust the process of our lives. It's like, okay, be in gratitude. But I think the dream is so important, because I don't know, life just isn't as fun without dreams. And I think we forget about dreams. We focus on making money or doing things we're supposed to do or whatever. But gosh, dreams make me feel alive.
And that's what we did as kids before there was any barriers.
Makes me feel alive. So pursue and follow our dreams would be number 2. The third one, third one's you matter. I think a lot of people don't think they're worth it. And we were all chosen to be here. Yeah. For that alone, you matter.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it is.
But for years, I didn't think I mattered.
Yeah.
And I strived to achieve so much so that I could be acknowledged that I would matter. Yeah. And I remember I would achieve everything, and I was like, I'm still not fulfilled or happy. Like, why? Like, I don't feel like I matter still. Yeah. And it's because I didn't just choose and decide that I matter. It's like I was waiting for everyone else to validate. Even when they did validate, I still didn't believe it.
Yeah. You let the world decide.
Exactly. And I was just always frustrated and unfulfilled. Yeah. And I just, we were chosen for whatever reason to be on this planet. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know.
Yeah. Those are great.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what was your favorite interview story from all your interviews? Which story left the greatest impact and why?
This is tough. There's so many great ones. Yeah. I don't know.
Probably bouncing a couple through your head and
yeah, let me think. A recent one maybe. I really like Tony Robbins, and
have you seen his new movie?
I did. I saw it with him. Yeah, in a screening with like 100 people with him the day before it came out. It He was sitting right behind me.
What an incredible human being.
Amazing, yeah. I mean, his story is really powerful. Maybe it's too obvious because he's just so well known, but he's just created such an incredible legacy, and he's developed himself into the person he always wanted to be.
That's a movement as well.
And he's impacting millions of people in the process. And for me, that's something that excites me.
Yeah.
It's like developing myself into the vision of who I want to be, and in the process being a symbol of inspiration for others, and providing resources and support for other people. So his story of just, being home, his mother like abusing him and essentially abandoning him, and
he's a big guy.
He's a big guy, but the thing is, he was like, I look back and I'm so grateful and love my mother for this because she made me who I am.
She taught him a lot.
Well, he's like, I wouldn't have this much compassion. I wouldn't have this much drive. I wouldn't have this much, belief in myself if I wasn't able to overcome that much tragedy at an early age. So he's like, if she was the most beautiful, loving mother that I could have ever wished for, I'd probably be like selling cars or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
the easy way out.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I can relate to that because of things that I went through personally as a kid, just like a lot of things, and we all go through our own things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying mine's worse or easier than other people or whatever, but we all go through our own things that affect us in our way. And so for me, I related because I felt like there was something I was born to do, similar,
nice.
In my own way. And it just took some time for me to kind of overcome a lot of those things. So
yeah. So you've experienced your fair share of success, like your recent New York Times bestseller. Everyone seems to quickly shift focus on what's next.
Yeah.
How important is it to celebrate success, to pause and reflect and really appreciate the achievement rather than moving on to what's next?
Now? It's funny because during my book tour last year, everyone asked that question, what's next? And I was just like, I'm focusing on what's now. And I think we forget about the now. And my whole life, I always focus on what's next. Yeah. It's like, when I'm going to achieve this thing, and then what's after that, and then it's not good enough. And
the next basket.
Yeah. And so, I mean, what's next is what's now, and that is writing and researching a new book that I'm writing about masculinity. I'm also want to really create a deeper, more intimate community, or bringing together of my community. So I'm hosting an event here in the next 6 weeks, and that'll be my first kind of like big gathering that I'm producing event, kind of like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about the daily process of figuring it out and producing both a book and an event, and thinking of it from a way of just like, how can I create the most value in every page and every minute of this event and every part of this experience? How can I just learn how to facilitate impact without me having to do the work?
Nice.
How can I structure a book or an event so that every moment there's impact? So just going to the Olympics, I was just at the Olympics for a week in Rio, and I was just like, I'm very aware and in tune of how I feel in every experience. And I say, how can I recreate that? Kind of like steal it like an artist, have you read that book or whatever?
Yeah.
So there was a thing that happened at the Olympics. I was like, gosh, this is an incredible experience. That this Holland house, there's like these country houses that they have where the athletes can come and relax and do parties. And this house for the Netherlands did this incredible acknowledgement for any medal winner at the end of the night.
Nice.
And it just gave me the chills.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to recreate that for my speakers coming on stage.
Yep.
And acknowledge them, and like what. So I'm just thinking about every aspect of what I'm creating.
They're kind of like, you familiar with the Wayfinder Academy at WDS?
No.
It's like they started a university for people that don't really know what to do. So it's like, here's
how we
can help you.
They started it last year, right? Yeah. Okay.
So they brought on the organizer on stage, and they showed like the enrollment process. So they gave them their capes straight away, and a big box, and they actually rather than saying enrollment starts in a month's time, they delivered the box to their doors. And
starts right now.
Yeah, it starts right now. We'll see you at enrollment in a week's time.
Wow.
So it was like that whole experience. It's that whole delight.
Exactly.
So it's different. It's a different level of customer service.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm excited about what I'm creating right now, which will eventually launch into something. Yeah.
You've said entrepreneurs only have time. People vote with their wallets if it will be a success. So that's in the context of launching an idea before making the product or service.
Yes.
So what do you exactly mean by that?
Yeah, I think so many people want to launch something, but they don't see if people want it first. And so I say, see if people want it see if they'll buy it first before you create it. And that way it saves you a lot of time and energy of like trying to think what people want as opposed to saying, hey, I'm going to offer this. Do you want it? If so, buy it for an extreme discount right now, and I'll deliver it in a couple weeks. I'll deliver part of it at a certain time whenever you can, especially with an online course, coaching, some type of service that doesn't take a long time to create.
Yeah.
It's not like a physical product. And that is a great test market to see if people want what you're offering. And if they don't buy, then you don't have to create something for 6 months and waste all your time and energy.
Yep.
I think so many people will focus on, the creation of it before they know people want it.
Yeah.
So make sure people want it with, not just by doing a survey and people saying, yes, I want it. When they put the money down, then they want it.
Yeah.
But if they just say, yeah, that sounds cool, I would buy that. No, okay, give them an offer to buy it right now. If they don't buy it, don't create it.
Yeah. And when you did that, did you already have an established list? Or was
when I first started it, no. I launched my first course, I launched to someone else's list.
Right.
So I didn't even do it. It was my first webinar. I didn't have a course. And I said, here's something I'm going to come out with in the future. If you guys want it, buy it for $150. Here's a PayPal link.
Yeah.
And I'll send you more information later. And people bought it. And I was like, oh, okay, now I can develop it. Now I can create it and then start delivering it.
Yeah.
And I've done that for a lot of my courses. Now I kind of know what people want, and I've done it so much that I know it's going to work for a lot of things, but I still pre-sell a lot of things before I create it.
And that's what you're teaching now through your online legacy course.
Of course, yeah. It's to sell something first before you create it.
Yeah, that's cool. So you talk about not being able to measure the ROI on brand, but that branding is very important and to invest in good graphic design to help with things like perception. Is there a moment where you go too far and you start to compromise authenticity, become robotic, and lose the human connection? Where the
With branding?
It's too good. Like if
It's
you're
too good?
Yeah.
Maybe. I think...
Because like when you kind of like record things from your iPhone, there's an element of rawness about it.
Yeah, that seems
when
cool
you get,
or whatever. It's too produced.
Yeah.
I think if it's you, I think whatever you represent, then that's the way it should be. And if it looks polished, then that's just who you are.
Yeah.
I think quality is always better than average or just like whipping it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I think being intentional and quality is more powerful than on your iPhone.
Looks
Even
like
though sometimes I do it on my iPhone because it's just like I need to. It's last minute.
Yeah.
But
looks like you care and
you're intentional.
You're taking the time.
Intentional. And I don't know if Apple just kind of threw things together on an iPhone, would you buy it? Or are you like so like amazed of the intentional quality of thought they put into each element of the design of the phone and whatever it may be. So
for why? Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. So I think and you can always evolve the branding, but I think it's just got to be you. If it doesn't speak to who you are, if it doesn't say yes, that's that person, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a good point. Makes sense.
Yeah, if you're trying to be someone you're not through branding, it doesn't make sense.
Yep. You
can enhance who you are.
Yeah. How do you stand out and be the signal when there's so much noisy content out there?
I think you gotta really show people you care about them. I think because let's just speak for the podcast right now. I mean, there's almost 500,000 podcasts out there. And I was just talking with a friend yesterday. I was just like, gosh, I don't know how people are launching them so much and thinking that they're going to get big like quickly. It's just going to take time. And the only way that I can think about it is like I really care about my audience. I say no to a lot of people that want to come on who are like friends of mine or just like pitching me constantly that I feel bad saying no to. But I'm like, you know what? I'm really trying to think of my audience here.
Yep.
And not just like say yes because...
And your community.
Yeah, my community, yeah.
Put some boundaries.
Exactly. And so I think showing my community that I care, but also when I have guests on, I really care about them as well. I'm very intentional about the people that I have on and making sure that I'm giving to them my full energy and acknowledging them for giving me that time and for giving my audience that time. Because most people don't. I don't know anyone that does that.
Yeah.
like a lot of people say, like, I appreciate the way you acknowledge people at the end of the podcast.
You can almost hear it in their voices. You know, they kind of
people can't. They don't even know how to. They don't even know how to receive it.
Yeah.
People are like almost embarrassed or in shock or just like overwhelmed. Like I see it in people's eyes when I'm acknowledging them. Yeah. And I started interviewing people only in person, and man, it's like a lot of people are just like so appreciative.
Yeah.
And I see that, and I think it's the human element of caring and seeing people for who they are is what we really want.
Yeah. And you bring that out like just in audio.
That's good. Yeah. Great. I mean, I'm just trying to do my best every day. So
yeah.
But I think that's what was the original question? How do you differentiate yourself from a sea of people?
Yeah.
I think when people want to. Yeah. I think human connection is one way that you can do it. I think branding also is how you differentiate. Also.
Yeah.
If you have the same average-looking brand or an unintentional-looking brand, like a lot of people, then you're not going to stand out. So branding is important.
Yeah.
And then the human element of just really caring about other people in your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
sense. Caring about your customers, caring about your employees, your team.
Yeah.
Caring about yourself.
With so many platforms, so particularly Snapchat and now Insta Stories, do you feel the pressure to show up every day? And how do you balance the online sharing and the personal connections? Do you sometimes feel the upkeep to share is taking over?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been able to manage it in a way that works for me. But there's definitely moments where I'm like, gosh, what could I create today if I wasn't posting for that hour of time or checking or responding? I think one of the reasons my audience has grown is because I continually show up in social media and respond to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like I try to respond as many comments as possible. People send me direct messages all the time on Snapchat and Instagram, and I try to respond as much as possible. And that takes time and energy.
Yeah.
But it also shows that I care. And people are always like, I can't believe you replied. But I care and that they want the information.
Yeah.
Without someone coming to me, like I want to have what I have. You know,
you continue a conversation.
Continue the conversation. I want people to keep coming back because there are so many distractions. There's so much going on. And I want them to be like, oh, at least I know when I go to Lewis, like he's going to reply or someone's going to reply or maybe he'll reply because he has before or something, you know.
Yeah.
I think the challenge for me is like this, that doesn't, it's hard to do that if it keeps growing. Like it's not, I don't like the word scalable, but it's not, you know. And so I think finding a way to create a win-win where I bring someone on my team to really be like a community relationship builder, where they're replying to everyone, so at least people know that someone's going to reply to them. Yeah. And that way I can just focus on posting the things that I need to post that only I can do. Yeah. You know, no one else can Insta Story or Snapchat for me. Yeah. They can tweet or Facebook or whatever, but... And just creating better systems in place. You know, I've got a full-time video person now, full-time podcast editor I've had for years, and, you know, who manage specific elements of social media, so I don't have to do it all. Yeah. And that kind of leads perfectly into the next question. So at what point did you decide having help as like a personal assistant, a chef, etc., was the best investment to optimize your life? I mean, years ago, I knew like 5-6 years ago, I wanted to have like virtual assistants from the Philippines, actually. And then I realized I needed more people like local, just for me, for what I needed, for what I like. I like fast. I like be able to talk to someone right now. I don't want to wait a day to talk to someone. And I just said, what are the things in my life that would make me happier if I didn't have to do? You know, that's what I want us to feel like: flexibility, freedom, fulfillment, happiness as often as possible. And you know, cooking is just not like I enjoy it when I want to do it, but I just don't want to do it that much. Yeah. And I don't want to do all these personal tasks that take me leaving away from my business or creating or doing what I do best. So I just started bringing on people, and I knew that there's no way I could build, you know, the financial wealth that I wanted to, the impact on people, build my community that I wanted to, all by myself. You know, Apple wasn't built just by Steve Jobs. Yeah. He had tens of thousands of employees because he could have not done any of it on his own. Yeah. So the only way to build any type of mega impact business is with a team. Yes. That's it. Unless you're Instagram, I guess, and you can do it with 15, 20 people, but That's not the business I'm in. So
it's not everyone.
Yeah, that's like an anomaly. So.
And I'm realizing that, like,
you need some team.
Yeah, and I need a manager now, so I can, like,
Listen, I've only got 10 people on my team right now, so it's not like I have to have all these people. But I think we've got to figure out how many people do you want on your team to take away the jobs that you don't want to do. That are going to help you grow.
Yeah,
and then only focus on the thing you're strongest at.
Yeah, that makes sense. Don't do the stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah, don't do the stuff.
It takes up too much frustration space.
Because as an entrepreneur or business owner, we only need to be focusing on a revenue generation.
Yeah,
if that's what we're good at, because no one else can do that on our team.
Yeah.
So that should be the only thing we focus on: is how am I going to continue to make money to pay for the team?
Yeah.
And pay myself.
Yeah. And lead the life we want to lead.
Exactly.
Lead. Tell me about your Mask of Masculinity project and why that's so important to you right now.
A few years ago, I went through a workshop where I started to reveal and kind of let go of the things from my past that I was holding on to my whole life. And as I was writing the School of Greatness book, a lot of this stuff kind of came up for me, just like talking about it through the book. And then during my book tour, I was just doing all Q&A and this like same topic of just like being true to yourself, being vulnerable as a man, and what does that mean? What does that look like? And what does that really give us when we can drop the walls? Because I had masks and walls, barriers, whatever you want to call it, for many years to portray an image that I wanted to be. And when I released that from myself, I just felt freedom.
Yeah.
And I felt like deeper connection with people, and my business started growing, and relationships started growing, and I just was kinder to myself and other people, and I wasn't as resistant or reactive, and I was just like, wow, what a amazing thing, like drop the mask.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suffering and pain that men are going through from things that I don't think they're able to express, able to let go of.
So what they're expected to do in society.
I mean, just from this is all my own personal experience. It's like I realized this is what was happening to me. And the more I talk with men, I realize there's a lot of pain that men are going through. Obviously, women are going through a lot of pain and suffering as well in their own way. But I feel like there's never been an open conversation for men to be vulnerable and be okay, at least in American society.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like it's something the reason I'm doing it is because it's something that scares me to talk about, because I have to be vulnerable, and it's constantly pushing me to go there when it's not always the easiest thing. The easiest thing is to not be vulnerable,
Yeah.
and wear a mask and try to look good and all these things. So constantly grow myself and push myself, but really impact.
So it was Captain America, as you put in your talk last year.
Yeah. And I think it's just really how can I impact more people, and this is a way to do that. My School of Greatness is going to continue growing and it's going to build, but I want to focus on another topic as well that can be a standalone piece to give to people that women can read and connect with their boyfriend, their sons, their fathers, their brothers who are guarded, where they feel like they can't ever talk to them.
Yeah.
Or like when this subject comes up, like they shut down. So what do you do in that situation? So you don't make them feel bad or wrong, or you don't emasculate men.
Yeah.
And then for men to read it as well, so they can have tools to process some of these things in a comfortable, safe place when they're ready.
Yeah.
And not pressure them to have to do something or be something.
Yeah.
So just I want to figure that out.
Nice. And there's a really good episode, a recent one with Chris Lee.
Yeah, it was fun.
He put up. Yeah. So at the end of your interviews, you always ask the guests for their definition of greatness. Rather than ask for yours, I'd like to know how your definition of greatness has changed and evolved throughout your life.
I mean, when I was younger, I think my definition was like being a professional athlete, or like just achieving my goal as an athlete would be greatness. And then I think at one point it was probably like make a lot of money and be able to provide for my family or something, And now it's to discover and pursue your dreams.
Right.
And make the maximum impact on people you can in that pursuit. I think that's, again, it comes back to dreams. I don't know what the point of life is without a dream, and maybe at some point we're not going to know what our dream is, but discovering and pursuing to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then impacting people living in service in that pursuit.
Yeah. I think a lot of people lose their way and they forget that they had a dream in the first place, or finding their way back.
Yeah, but it's like, what's the point? If we don't have a dream, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, there is no. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Life
Just to wake up and provide and
be one of the Matrix
and
guys.
die.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I just feel like we were born for more than that.
There's actually a good TED talk that Britt shared in the I think the Legacy Facebook group, and it was like a TED talk of a guy on procrastination, and one of his final slides was like this big chart of like 100 squares, and the first like 40% were filled out. He said, this represents a month of your life. This is the squares you have left.
Oh, wow.
You know, are you going to mess it up, or are you going to act now?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
really cool. Finally, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, and how will you continue to build a lasting legacy?
You know, I can say what I see myself, but I'm so open to like whatever, anything can happen any day. So I'm open to going where I feel like I'm called to go to make the biggest impact right now. But if I can draw anything out and make it happen and will it myself, and it's supposed to happen, I want to be the biggest curator in the world of ideas, people, and products.
Nice.
I want to be, I don't need to be the expert or whatever, but I want to be the one that knows the people, knows the things, or the products that I'm like, yeah, that is quality. That's going to help a lot of people. Like, I can see how this will support people.
Yeah.
And then have the platform to give that to people.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Oprah has created.
Yeah.
But I want to be the biggest curator or facilitator in the world.
That's a great mission. You know, there's so much. People need to be guided, and
Yeah.
I think I
want to be a resource.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks. I really appreciate your time. And
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Of course, this is fun.